Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Roshan.
Ma'am, I have a question. That ma'am, Spirogyra reproduce under favorable conditions. Ma'am, so what are the
Huh.
conditions and what in which way?
In which way does it reproduce?
Yes,
This
ma'am.
is your question. Okay. Wait a second. Let me share my screen. Sir. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Sir, give me permission for screen share.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Is my screen visible? Roshan Palak?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So you are asking about Spirogyra, right? So actually organisms produce through two ways. Organisms reproduce through two ways. On the basis of reproduction, they can be of two types, like first one is asexual reproduction and second one is sexual reproduction.
Ma'am,
Yes.
is there is any trick to remember that examples of asexual reproduction?
No, actually, there is not a particular trick because their names don't relate with each other. Actually, we apply trick only with the names, na. So since
After some time, I have remembered the topics, that concept, but I just missed the name or examples.
okay, so you have to just remember the names through type of reproduction they do. Like sponges do like Spirogyra that you are saying, na.
Yes, ma'am.
Spirogyra reproduce through what? Tell me. By what it reproduce? By fermentation or by regeneration or by spores? Or these all are asexual types of reproduction, which I am writing here.
Yes,
And others are, which are others? Tell me about Spirogyra, through which it can reproduce.
ma'am. Spirogyra is a simple organism. Simple organism, ma'am, which break in pieces.
Which break in pieces. Yes, it breaks in pieces. It breaks in pieces and then reproduce through regeneration. Each piece of Spirogyra reproduce itself into a new organism, right?
Yes.
Yes. So since it is breaking into pieces and then like this is the body of Spirogyra and it will break into simple small pieces. And then these pieces regenerate themselves into a new body or in a new organism. Each piece. This is what called this correlates with the regeneration, right? And when regeneration is happening, then regeneration is not a sexual type of reproduction. Actually, sexual is only when two parents are involved, and sexual is when only single parent is involved. One parent is involved. So since one parent is only involved here, then regeneration is a sexual type of reproduction.
Yes.
Got that?
Ma'am, why it is not possible in the higher organism to regenerate? जो regeneration होता है, हाइड्रा और प्लानेरिया में होता है. Why not in human?
What you are asking? Hydra, in Hydra it is?
Ma'am, regeneration.
Hydra is in regeneration. In Hydra, regeneration takes place. That's what you are saying.
Yes, ma'am. Hydra and planaria.
Hydra and planaria. Okay. So what is the doubt here? Is it why does it take place or how is it
No,
take
ma'am.
place?
No, why this not take place in higher organisms like human beings?
In higher organisms. Okay.
Yes.
Regeneration does not take place in higher organisms. Why it does not take place?
Like humans.
It can't take place in higher organisms. In humans, it can't because humans are reproducing sexually. Our body's cells does not have so efficiency that they can divide by themselves and reproduce. Okay, like if we get cut in one of our fingers get cut. Okay,
Yes,
so cells of that finger, the cells that are around that particular cut or particular damage will regenerate themselves automatically. Okay, they will divide there and they will regenerate new cells automatically there. But a whole organism cannot regenerate a new organism. A whole organism cannot regenerate a new organism because we have multiple types of cells. We don't have a single type of cell. We have multiple types of cells. Like we have neurons, we have nephrons, we have heart muscles, different heart muscles. So like this, we have different types of cells. These neurons and nephrons, they can't divide. Neurons can't divide themselves. Neurons can't reproduce themselves. So that's why regeneration process can't take place in humans or in higher organisms.
Yes,
because there are different and multiple metabolic activities that run in a human, in a bigger organism or in a higher organism.
Ma'am, that connective tissues that are nerve cells, they can't divide. That's why they are not able to regenerate ourselves.
Yes, they can't divide. That's what I'm saying. They can't divide themselves. Yes. Only a small cell in our finger can divide itself and can regenerate itself for the particular part only. Like see an example. A boy has 5 fingers. Okay. 1 thumb and fingers. If due to some accident or something like that, if he loses one of his fingers, then how many will left? His body does not have that efficiency that the cell of that finger which he lost will divide in that much efficiency that a new finger will come. No, this new finger will not come. Only the skin will recover on that particular area to cover that wound.
Yes.
They don't have efficiency to regenerate fully the all types of cells. Here in that finger, not only
this happen. Planaria is able to regenerate itself from a single part.
Because planaria has only one type of cells. That's what I'm saying. See, listen to me. Listen to me first.
Yes.
A single finger of ours will have neurons that I had explained in my previous classes, that neurons are responsible for your stimulus and responsive behavior. Okay. Yes. They are connected with our spinal cord, with our central nervous system, and so that we can get response when we touch for some unfavorable things like cold thing or hot thing like that. Okay. Also, our finger has epithelial cells that are the skin cells which cover over the finger. Also, our finger has muscular cells, voluntary and involuntary. Involuntary are those which run on themselves, like red blood cells, and voluntary are those through which we can move our finger up and down. Okay, so these are different types of cells, and these all cells does not have regenerative capacity. Neurons does not have regenerative capacity, but in planaria or in hydra, only a single type of cell is present. And that particular type of cell has the regenerative efficiency. It can divide itself and make the cells of its own kind. Got that? We have different types of cells, multiple types of cells, and all types of cells can't be divided in our body. While in Planaria and Hydra, only one type of cell they have. And so that they can divide, those cells can divide and make the same of their kind, like clones.
Ma'am, then we can divide a bacteria. Then why bacteria can't regenerate itself? Because it's also having a single cell.
We divide bacteria and bacteria can't regenerate itself. Yes. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Bacteria does not regenerate itself. Bacteria makes clones of itself. Like it divides. Like a single bacteria is here. It will divide its body, and these two parts will give two different daughter cells. Okay. Then again it will divide and it will give 4 daughter cells. And then these daughter cells are developing through regeneration only. Na? What do you understand by the term regeneration? Regeneration is not such only a type of reproduction. It is a capacity to divide and form. Here, when a bacteria divides itself, the daughter cells that are produced, they will regenerate themselves. They will make different body parts also by themselves. Got that?
Yes, ma'am.
Regeneration is just not only reproduction. It is not only reproduction. It's the efficiency to divide by which you can divide. Regeneration happens in our body also. Like I said, that if you get some wound, the epithelial cells of your skin will regenerate themselves.
Means in humans only the skin can regenerate.
Yes, only skin cells regenerate, not others. Like if your intestine got not yes, if any boy is there and got some accident and he's operated by doctors in the hospital, and by mistake some intestinal part of his got cut. Okay, they by mistakenly took the scissors and got cut the intestine. It's very minute in our body. Okay, very minute. So might be due to some accidental errors, it got cut. Okay, then they can't leave that intestine just as it is in our body. They need to join it anyhow, because intestinal cells does not have the capacity to regenerate themselves and get joined. Only our skin cells or epithelial cells which lie on our skin have the regenerative capacity. They can divide and they can form the covering through the time. That means they need time. After some time, the covering forms over us. And there is also epithelial layers are different epithelial layers are there. Like if I pull out this one, then a red one will appear. Then if I pull out that one, a pinkish color will appear. There are 2 or 3 layers over our body or in our skin. They all have regenerative capacity like that. Got it? But all the cells of our body does not have regenerative capacity. Our cells of hair have regenerative capacity. They regenerate. If we cut them, then again they regenerate and will become long. Right?
Yes, ma'am. And nails too.
Nails also have regenerative capacity. If we cut them, they will again regenerate. So all those things.
Only living cells can transfer electricity or conduct electricity in human beings.
Yes, most probably.
Ma'am, it means a person is dead, then he can't able to conduct electricity. If we put a wire.
No, if a person is dead, it can't conduct electricity, that we can't say. Because see, our body conducts electricity because we have running human blood inside us, and also it could conduct electricity because it has sense. We can feel that we are conducting electricity. If some human is dead, and if we just take the wire and switch it to him or her, then how could we say that it is conducting or not? Because it will, if it will feel current, it can't say that I am feeling current. It is already dead.
Yes, ma'am.
See,
but ma'am, we will use some meter, voltmeter or ammeter.
See, listen. Our body conducts electricity like it does not transfer electricity from one end to another. What you are thinking? Like here is a wire, here is an open wire. Okay, well, it is a physics topic, but okay, I am getting interest in it. Here is a wire, open wire. Okay, and here is a man.
Yes.
Okay, if he touches this wire, so what do you think? Our body, the human body, will conduct electricity, and from the other hand, if he is holding some bulb or something like that, it will glow due to conduction. What do you
Yes,
think?
ma'am. I was actually thinking this one. This one.
Huh?
Ma'am, I was thinking this one.
No, how it will? Our body can't transfer these electricity. This current can't be transferred through our body to glow a bulb.
Ma'am, means electricity can't transfer inside our body. We only feel it.
Ma'am,
repeat one more time.
Ma'am, if electricity can't transfer up from our body, then how one person touches the other person, then how they both feel the electricity?
Well, I didn't thought so deep in these cases, but I know this one, that if the electricity would be transferring from our body like this, that a wire current, if it transfers from our body, then the bulb will not glow. If it would have happened, then we would not be needing this lights and fans in our houses with different wires. Okay. Well, okay, I will do research on this one. It is really out of my mind. I didn't thought how it will go if because electrons that are in the electricity or in the wire, they can't transfer from our body. We get shock, right? We get shock, and when we touch a wire like this, the current is transferred wholly to the earth, but it can't transfer to a bulb to glow. Maybe it's due to it won't be having sufficient energy that will glow a bulb, because when it transfers to our body, it would be in the form of mechanical energy, right? If it would have been in the form of electrical energy, then the tester that we use to detect the how much current is there in the wires or in the switches, that would have also glowed when we touch to our body while touching that wire. Got that? Here electrical energy might convert to mechanical energy, and that mechanical energy cannot convert again to electrical energy to glow a bulb. This might be the reason that it can't glow a bulb.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we can't glow a bulb through holding a wire. we can just transfer the energy to earth only. We get shocked. Actually, this electrical energy, when converts to mechanical energy, it is very high in voltage, and that's why I think most probably we get shocked.
Yes.
Got that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I will just see to this concept once more, and I will convey in the next class most probably. Okay. Yes. Another doubt?
Ma'am, what is light microscope and electron microscope?
Light microscope and electron microscope. So light microscope.
Yes, ma'am.
And electron microscope. So most probably I have seen the two types of microscopes. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it in the paused state? Can you see this drawings I'm sharing? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It might be coming due to some alteration. Okay, so electron microscope and light microscope. Basically, there are two types of microscope that are simple and compound. Simple microscope and compound microscope. The simple microscope runs, it does not need any extra things, like it has only single lens, and compound microscope has two lenses. Okay, and light and electron microscope, the light microscope most probably works in the most probably we can see things through the light microscope only when it is placed, or the things things which are placed on the palette of microscope is having a direct sunlight, is facing the direct sunlight. Okay, got that, Palak?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And electron microscope is something, it is a type of compound microscope that we can use in any type of light. That means it does not need a direct sunlight. Any other doubt, guys?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, what is
Yes,
called
sir.
CALLUS? CALLUS. I have just read this term first time.
Call us.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, call us. Say something about this. Where have you read that?
I'm on the website. I was just reading. I got this. Wait.
Oh, I can't see that. It is something blurred. You say by yourself. You say by yourself.
Ma'am, it's written in artificial vegetative propagation, an isolated plant part called explained is cultured in glass container under a aseptic condition with proper nutrient medium, and the
And that
plant developed into
part.
the undifferentiated mass of cell called cellus.
Okay, it is not cellus, actually it is callus, and it is called the modified form through vegetative propagation. Modified form of a part or plant through vegetative propagation, and that modified form is through artificial method. That means you all know vegetative propagation. What is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Vegetative propagation is
a form of asexual reproduction.
A form of asexual reproduction that is done in plants.
Yes, ma'am.
Done through plants.
We do to get a more.
So when
desired plant.
So when this vegetative propagation is done artificially, that means we are doing it in lab or in the conditions which are maintained by humans, in all the favorable conditions which are maintained by humans, and those favorable conditions are temperature that the particular plant needs, pressure that a particular plant needs, environment that a particular plant needs. So all these things are maintained by whom? By humans. These artificial conditions are developed by humans, and when these artificial conditions are developed, then the particular part of plant is undergone vegetative propagation or reproduced asexually, and the part which forms first, the first part which forms is called as callus. That is the group of cells through which the whole part or whole plant could be generated. That is called as callus. Okay.
And please repeat it.
Got that.
Please repeat it.
I need to repeat it. Okay. Artificial, you understood artificial conditions? What are artificial conditions?
Yes.
Okay. So these artificial conditions are developed by humans to reproduce or to get a plant through vegetative propagation from a different plant. Okay. And in order to get a new plant from a different plant through vegetative propagation, the part of plant which can undergo through vegetative propagation is introduced in the artificial conditions. And when the first part which grows through artificial conditions, the first part of plant which grows through artificial conditions, that part of plant is called as callus. This callus will generate into a whole plant.
First part,
like it could be seed, it could be stem, it could be root, it could be hypothalamus, or anything like that.
In vegetative propagation, we cut a plant in cutting and we join the other plant. In this, we can't get a new plant. We get the same plant.
No.
We use the different part of two plants, but we get a single plant. In cutting and grafting method.
By cutting and grafting, you can see if you are using cutting and grafting in the rose flower, then you will get a rose flower, na? You will not get cucumber from that.
No, ma'am. Ma'am, somewhere it is written that the upper part of the plant which we are having, we get the fruit of that plant, not of the plant that we having the stem or root.
Yes, the upper part of plant which we are adding we will get the plant of that part. You are saying this, and the lower part does not play any role. Yes, actually, lower part is involved in accessing nutrition from the soil. Okay, its main work is to access nutrition from the soil in order to grow the plant fulfilled manner. So the upper part has the specific role to grow the plant whichever needs to be grown.
Yes.
Lower part is involved in nutrition, just in nutrition, so that they can get nutrition from the soil efficiently.
Yes. Now
okay. Anyone else? Any other doubts?
What is health?
What is health?
Yes, ma'am.
Health means what should I say, the wellness of a human being or wellness of an organism, how well or he or she is. If he is not well, then it is called as bad health. If he is well, then it is called as good health. This is only the definition of health, wellness of an organism. It could be good, it could be bad.
What is disease?
What is?
Disease.
Disease is unwellness of an organism. Unwellness. It is unwell in what way? Like what type of disease it is going through. That will call as a disease, unwellness of an organism. It is suffering from which type of unwellness? Maybe it is due to diarrhea, maybe it is due to typhoid, maybe it is due to something, anything like that, common cold or any virus or HIV or anything like that, hemophilia. These all unwellness things or unwellness motives are called as disease. Okay. Next.
Ma'am.
Yes, Abhinav.
Ma'am, all living things can feel cold, then why trees can't?
I can't get you. Actually, I can't hear you fully. Can you repeat?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, all the living beings can feel cold. Tree is also a living organism. Then why tree can't feel the cold?
Okay, all living beings feel cold. Okay. You are asking this. And which organism you are asking does not feel cold?
Tree.
Again?
Ma'am, tree.
Tree. Okay, plant does not get cold or does not feel cold. It does not feel cold.
Yes.
Okay, I don't, well, it is a ideological question. Why does trees do not feel cold? Okay. We can say the marine animals living in cold water also does not feel cold. We can say that.
But trees will also get freeze in the cold. But why they didn't?
Okay, trees does not get cold. That's what you are asking. Trees does not have those cells which can sense this cold and things like that. They don't have central nervous system. We feel cold, we feel hot, we feel all these things because our body senses these things and transmits to our brain that your body is going through a particular temperature. And that temperature is not habitual for you. That's why we feel cold, because our cells have senses. Trees cells does not have senses. Okay. If it would have senses, like if you are just firing up them, would they say something, or would you detect something like they are going far from you, that you can't get them fired out? Or since they can't walk, they don't have legs, so they can't walk. But do they detect, gives any of the symbols like that, like don't fire on me, don't put fire on me, or don't do like this, or don't do like that? No, because they don't have senses. They don't have neurons. They don't have central nervous tissue. If they would be senseful, then we would not be cutting them. They would have said something to us. They would have detected something to us, like that. Got it? Trees does not have senses.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other question? Next. Yes, Abhinav.
Ma'am, you said in the last class that between mesosphere and thermosphere, all artificial satellites are there. So, ma'am, does that is harmful for the O3, means ozone layer, because that is also present in the between them only?
No, ozone layer is present in stratosphere. I said ozone layer.
Ma'am, means satellites are artificial satellites are above the ozone layer.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. They don't have any problems with the ozone layer, or ozone layer does not have any problem with the satellites.
Okay.
Ozone layer have problem only with the gases. It has problem only with the UV rays that we get from sunlight. It does not have any problem of satellites. Okay. Or frequencies or radio waves or something like that. No problems with that. No problems detected till now.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
Okay. Next question. Yes, anyone else?
Go on, student, ask the doubt there.
Yes, no doubts are there.
Still, we are having half an hour there.
Yes, you can ask any doubt if you have. Yes, Roshan.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I don't have more doubts because I had not read.
Okay, no doubts.
I have to read biology for this.
Okay. Okay, it's okay. So should I ask then questions to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Sabina, do you have any doubts?
No, ma'am, by mistake.
Okay, by mistake. Okay, let me ask then some questions to you. So it may be, so should I ask from biology only or from other subjects too? Are you comfortable with other subjects?
Ma'am, what you want to ask?
Like, okay. Okay, just tell me, why do we get slipped over when we walk on a surface that has soap? Soapy surface. We slipped over it, we get slipped over it, and we don't get slipped over a rough surface or without soap.
Ma'am, because this slopy surface does not contain frictional force.
Frictional force. Okay. So tell me about frictional force. So she said, who said? Palak said. Palak said that soapy surface does not have frictional force while rough surface has. So what is frictional force then? Can anyone?
Yes, ma'am.
It's not important that you have to tell the definition of frictional force. Okay, you can just explain.
Ma'am, relative motion of solid surface, fluid layers and materials.
Okay. Yes, Abhinav.
Ma'am, the force means the force that oppose motion between the surface and we are in the contact.
Yes, it is the force that opposes motion when two surfaces are sliding over one another. Okay, that is called as frictional force. And frictional force is much more when it is a rough surface. Okay, and when it is a slippery or soapy surface, frictional force is not there. Because when we walk over this surface, our bottom part of our legs, that is the feet, bottom part of our feet, can't be reflected back through the earth due to this soapy surface, and hence there is a frictional force is very less, and that's why we get slipped over this. Okay. Next question is about what is the full form of CFCs?
Ma'am, chlorofluorocarbons.
Okay, chlorofluorocarbons. What are they responsible for?
Ma'am, for depleting the ozone layer.
Depleting the ozone layer. Okay. Next question. Yes, Roshan, you have some doubt. Yes, Roshan. Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so chlorofluorocarbons is depleting the ozone layer. From where does these chlorofluorocarbons come?
And from refrigerator and AC.
From refrigerators and ACs. Yes, in our homes where we use AC or air conditioners or refrigerators, these coolant type materials which provide us coolant. So these materials produce this type of gas, chlorofluorocarbons, and it is depleting our ozone layer. Ozone layer has the formula. What is the formula for ozone layer?
O3.
O3. So ozone layer might be formed by this O plus O plus O, like this.
Ma'am, O2 plus O.
Okay, O2 plus O will give O3. Here this O, single O, is called as what? What does this O called? Okay, I will tell. Nascent oxygen. It is called as nascent oxygen. Single oxygen molecule is called as nascent oxygen because you wouldn't have seen oxygen as like this in any of the reactions. very exceptional cases are there when oxygen is taken as like this in reactions, because oxygen only exists in O2 form only. It can't exist in O form. Okay. So
what is nascent oxygen?
nascent oxygen, we just say it as nascent oxygen when only a single molecule of single atom of oxygen exists. It is called as nascent oxygen. Because oxygen we called what? Oxygen we called O2. Okay, and oxygen has the name oxygen only. No other name is there for oxygen. So what we will call when only single O is there, so a name is given to it as nascent oxygen. For our thinking, so that we can detect it. Got that? Yes, any other doubts related to this?
No.
Okay. Okay. Tell me about the first type of fiber that occurred naturally. Natural fiber. First natural fiber. It's very easy. First natural fiber of ours is silk. Okay. Silk cotton you wear. Silk, silk cloth you wear, na?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
that silk is our first natural fiber. And since instead of silk, most of time we use rayon. Rayon is called as artificial silk. It is artificial silk. So why does we develop this artificial silk? Since we had a natural fiber, na? We had natural silk. Why did we develop artificial silk there? Here you are from 8th class, na? Abhinav and Palak. Palak, you are from 8th class?
No, ma'am, 9th class.
9th class. Yes, you had studied this in 8th class. This is
Yes.
of 8th class syllabus. Okay, so, okay, I will tell. Artificial silk, we had developed artificial silk because this natural silk was very less and it takes so much of time to reproduce or develop. Also, it was, since it has very less availability and hence it was so costly. It is so costly to buy. So in order to fulfill our needs of silk, we had developed what? We had developed artificial silk. This artificial silk does not have exact similar quality as that of silk, but it matches somehow and we adjust with that, right? Like if we have two pens, we have a red pen and we have a black pen. Now somewhere it is very mandatory for us to use black pen only. But since we have a red pen, so what we will do? We will just fulfill our needs with that red pen only, since we don't have black pen at that particular time. So red and black does not match, but what matches between them is pen. They both are pen. Okay, so a need of pen could be fulfilled by red pen also. In the same way, silk and artificial silk, that is rayon, does not match exactly, but we fulfill our needs of silk through this rayon because it can replace silk. It has some qualities which matches with silk, not exactly as it is, but some qualities matches. That's why. Okay, that was about silk. Next question is, sorry, cotton. Okay, cotton is a synthetic or artificial fiber? Tell me, is it synthetic fiber or artificial fiber?
Ma'am, synthetic fiber.
Ma'am, synthetic fiber.
Yes, it is a synthetic fiber. Sorry, synthetic, not natural fiber. It is a
both
natural.
are same.
Yes. No, synthetic and natural are not same. Synthetic
Ma'am,
fiber are
synthetic
called
and artificial.
Huh?
Synthetic
Synthesis
and
and artificial one.
No, you are getting it wrong. Synthetic is, yes, synthetic matches with artificial. Synthetic mostly matches with artificial, but we call natural also sometimes synthetic when we develop a particular fiber from natural one. Okay, then they will also called as what? They will also called as synthetic one. Okay, so we will match here synthetic with artificial, and cotton is a natural fiber. Okay, there exists in natural fibers, there exists something in cotton, there exists a bacteria, we can say, called as BT. It is Bacillus thuringiensis. This is a type of bacteria or worm which makes cotton not good for our usage. It despoils cotton. Okay, Bacillus thuringiensis. So in order to get a cotton which is free from this bacteria, actually this bacteria does what? It just infect a particular plant of cotton, and by the time slowly it infects whole field of cotton or all the plants of cotton which are located in that particular area. It spreads, this infection spreads from one plant to another. Okay, this most probably happens in cotton. It happens in other plants also, but most probably happens in cotton. So our scientists done what? Our scientists developed a cotton plant which does not have, which could not be got infected through Bacillus thuringiensis. They did what? They did put on the BT virus, BT bacterium itself in the cotton plant. Okay, this BT bacterium itself in the cotton plant, and now that cotton plant is called as BT cotton. Okay, and now the Bacillus thuringiensis itself, when this bacteria again comes to this BT cotton, it can't get infected because it already exists there. This type of plants which we develop by ourselves through some modifications in their genes. Here this BT is introduced in their genes, in the genes of cotton plant. So when we develop such plants in which the modifications are done in their genes for heredity, so those plants are called as genetically modified organisms or genetically modified plants. GM, that is genetically modified organisms. Got that? So some plants are there which we get like this. Some organisms are also like this. Some organisms we get, they are also genetically modified. Like we have seen, you have seen the cows that exist in the other countries. Have you seen that? They have much more fatty and give milk something like this, 50 to 60 liters milk in a day.
Yes, ma'am.
But our cows, that is Indian cows, does not give that much milk. They would give 20 liters or 25 liters maximum. Oh, 5 liters. Yes, many cows give 5 liters also. So why their cows give this much maximum, this much milk in a day? Because they are genetically modified. They are made genetically modified so that they get the efficiency to give milk in such a large amount. These type of cows are called what? They are called as hybrid varieties. Have you heard this word, hybrid?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
They are called as hybrid varieties because the hybridization is done for them. They are introduced or reproduced through different male cows so that they can get the efficiency to give milk in large amount. They are called as hybrid varieties, or they are also called as genetically modified organisms. Got that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other doubts? No doubts. Okay. Okay, let me then. Okay, Roshan is here. Roshan is there in the class?
No, ma'am.
No.
Okay, Roshan left. Okay, he had discussed about regeneration when the class started actually. So I will give one more example of regeneration in human body. Mostly girls would be known to this. Yes, Palak and Rani are there in the class. When we do this nose piercing or ear piercing, and when we
Yes,
does
ma'am.
not put this nose ring or ear ring for some time, quite some time, like 3 or 4 days, then what does happen?
Ma'am, the skin cover that hole.
Can't get you.
Ma'am, the hole that was made by something that was covered.
Yes, that hole gets covered. By what? The hole gets covered by regeneration of cells that are around that. Actually, our body does not know that this piercing is done by us, because we need to put a nose ring or an ear ring. Our body does not know that. Our mind knows that, but our body cells which are existing here in nose or in ear does not know this. Okay. So since they are not knowing this, they will confirm this hole or this ear hole or nose hole as what? They will confirm it as a wound, right? They will take it as a wound, like some accident have happened or something like that have happened, and the cells are disappeared from this particular area. So what they will do? They will regenerate themselves and divide themselves and make the cells again, and then these pores will get filled up with those cells again. Then if we want piercing again, then we need to pierce it, or we need to go with the jeweler's shop and ask him to pierce it again, so that we can wear this nose ring or earring. So this is the regenerative example in human body. This happens. Okay, it is not because in a particular wound only the skin cells regenerate. They also regenerate when we do something with us due to our causes, and then also the cells will get divide and regenerate themselves, because they don't know that we had caused it by ourselves. We need to put a ring inside that. Got it? That's what happens. This is called regeneration. Also when yes, Abhinav, you got some doubt?
Ma'am, other doubt. You can finish
Yes,
first.
yes. Okay, ask.
Ma'am, the UV rays that came from sun, ma'am, what are they cause? Ma'am, what are the harmful effects of that?
Okay,
In our
the
skin.
UV rays that come on Earth, and due to ozone depletion, they are directly reflecting on Earth. What we get from it? We actually get skin cancer. Yes, Rani? Yes,
Ma'am,
Rani?
when we injure, then blood comes out. Then after 5 to 6 days, skin comes white on that
Yes.
place.
Yes. Okay, I will discuss that. Wait a minute. Let me discuss this first. The UV rays that comes on Earth and reflect does not get reflected back to the sun due to depletion in ozone and the increase of pollution on the Earth. They will do what? They will do skin cancer to our body, most probably, because these UV rays are very harmful to our skin or the epithelial cells. They will make our epithelial cells of skin to oncogenes. Oncogenes. What are oncogenes? These are cancerous cells. They will convert our cells into oncogenes, and these oncogenes will distribute every time in our body and will cause skin cancer. The skin cancer is very harmful. Okay, got Abhinav?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, Rani, what were you asking? Ask it again, please.
Ma'am, when we injure, then Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Ma'am, when we inject, then bloods come out. Okay?
Yes.
After
Yes.
8 to 10 days, the skin all recover that. And why that time only the skin doesn't recover that?
Okay, she is asking actually when we get injured or we get wound, the blood come out. Okay, and after 5 to 6 days, the skin comes. And why does not the skin comes? Skin comes at the time of wound only. Why does blood exist for some longer time and it comes skin comes after 5 to 6 days? Because Rani, our skin cells needs time to regenerate. They can't regenerate just in seconds. They needs time to regenerate. Our body cells are very metabolic in function. They are built up with different organelles and they need time to regenerate themselves one by one. Like one will form 2, then 2 will form 4, like this. And a single wound and a single area will a minute area contains thousands of cells. And in order to build that thousands of cells, our body needs time. Na? It can't be made so easily in seconds or in hours. So that's why it takes 5 to 6 days. Got that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other doubts, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, when anybody gets cancer, then why their hair gets falling?
When anybody gets cancer, then why does their
hair gets fall? Started
okay,
falling.
their hair gets yes, their hair gets fall. Actually, when anyone gets cancer, then they have to undergo through a therapy called chemotherapy. In this chemotherapy, what they does is they will give particular medicines, drugs. Drugs does not mean that those drugs which are addicted ones. They give medicines to us. They give medicines to the patients, and they give chemotherapy. Actually, in chemotherapy, what they does, they just take out the cancerous cells from that particular part. The most of the part of cancerous cells they will take out, and thus inject the anesthesia and something like that injections. And those medicines and injections have this feedback, or we should say what we can say, the our body reflects them by unavailability of keratin protein. Our body reflects back to this chemotherapy and medicines of cancer by unavailability of keratin protein. And this unavailability of keratin is in large amount. If this large amount exists, then our hair gets fall off, since our hair is made up of keratin only. Okay, so body cells does not hold up hair and they thus fall off because of this chemotherapy and the medicines which we have to eat when some person got cancer. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so that was all about today's session. Any other doubts you guys have? So today you were all very active. It was good to see that. Okay, we will discuss more topics in our next class.